Okay, everybody, we're back. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Apologies, just get this out of the way ahead of time. Feeling a little under the weather today, so I might lose my train of thought every once in a while because I have, the sickness interrupting my powerful Pauper Commander brainwaves. But regardless, we're back once again. Kind of piggybacking off what we did last week. Last week we did Prototype Prodigy, I believe is the name of the card. A vehicle, because this month of July, we in the management team of Pauper Commander decided to make vehicles legal, moving them from a Rule Zero option into a legal option for the duration of the month of July. We did this in January this year with Planeswalkers, just legal for the month, kind of like what the Commander folks did with Silver Border cards, however many years ago. But yeah, just trying to help people destigmatize Rule Zero options, get like a frame of reference for like what is miserable to play against as a Rule Zero when someone requests it, what is fine. It's been really successful, so we decided to do it again in July, and then we find out that Commander stole our idea, and then they're making vehicles for them legendary, for us uncommon vehicles legal commanders. So it's an idea so good it was stolen by legitimate Magic the Gathering people. But that's kind of a long answer about why we're building Apocalypse Runner this evening. Kind of at the opposite end of the color pie spectrum. Last week we did blue-white. This is black-red. This card's actually it does a lot of stuff. Has a lot of moving parts. That's kind of like one of the things that I look for in cards that I want to play with as a commander is how many different avenues or how many different axes can I kind of exploit this card. So here we have a 4 mana black-red 2 vehicle 6/5, so like pretty beefy. Has an activated ability to tap target creature with power 2 or less, gains lifelink and unblockability. So it can sneak through your little guys, or you can have your 3 power plus guys crew it up. So you have something to do with creatures all along the mana value spectrum. The little guys just get to attack for free. The big guys get to turn this into a giant beefer. I imagine we're going to be doing a fair amount of both of those things. So without further ado, we're going to get started here. Go to our trusty Scryfall tab, and I've got my black red cards. Let's just look at first. Actually, let me get some lights here first. Just get that out of the way now. Swamp. Mountain. This is going to be a 36er. We're going to start with 36. 36 in Pauper Commander is like a pretty safe bet in my opinion. Obviously, it's like much lower than people are used to playing or recommend playing in Commander, but like the cards that you're playing in this format tend to be a lot lower on the mana value spectrum. The things that are on the higher mana value axis, like they're generally not that impressive. Whereas in Commander, like you really want to get to that stuff. In this format, it doesn't. It's much less of an issue. So I think like 36 is great to start, especially because like we're going to be actually let's do one more. We'll do one more song. Because we want to, our mana costs 4 mana. But we're going to have a lot of little guys on the lower end of the curve with this power restriction here to make them unblockable. So let's look at things whenever deals damage. Whoops. That's a type line. I'm an idiot. Whenever deals damage. We're going to look at any black-red common that has the words whenever deals damage. So these are things that we're going to be ostensibly wanting to make unblockable so we can get a damage trigger. That's the idea. So let's go on in here. Any second now, Scryfall. There we go. Alright, so we have some creatures, some auras, some equipment. We'll probably stray away from equipment just because stuff like Beamtown Beatstick or Golding Pick, they boost our creature's power. So we'd have to do something where we like give the creature unblockability and then equip the stuff, which I don't know if it's the most effective way to go about it. Like something like Academy Raider is pretty good because this thing is also just like has evasion built into it. 3 mana 1/1 with Intimidate, so it can only be blocked by black or artifacts. When it deals combat damage, we get to Rummage. This sort of card seems like a pretty decent template for what we want to be doing. Things like that. Deals combat damage is a 3/2. We don't want that. Blind Zealot, whenever it deals combat damage, you can have a phrase it to destroy a creature. Yep, let's do that one. Blind Zealot, some like utility focused guys here. Another thing that we can do is we can like take creatures that have like good abilities, not like necessarily like Zealot, but like Academy Raider, make them unblockable, and then pump them afterwards with other effects. So there's like another suite of cards that we'll probably be tapping into later that does just that. But first I want to get these things out of the way. Oh, the dogs are going crazy in the background here. Alright, we're not sacrificing a lot of permanents. We're not really doing Bomber Core stuff. I do like Bomber Core, it's a pretty cool card, but I'm not doing that. It's interesting, like these cards like Erdwell Ripper, when they deal damage they get counters, but we want to be able to really do it once before we just like have to attack them normally into stuff, so I'm much less high on those. Attacks does 1 damage to any player now. Furnace Scamp, when you sacrifice, deal 3 damage to a player. Not good enough, but I like where its head's at. Goblin Medics will play because it has an ability that makes us like want to use it to help crew. Obviously, like Goblin Medics can't crew this card on its own, but we will be able to use it in conjunction with something else to do it. There are a lot of like other creatures that when they become tapped, they do a thing in these colors, not just in like the white blue, even though they have more. There are some decent ones in red black that will play as well. Sacrifice, discard 3 cards. No. I mean, yeah, let's play Haunted Cadaver. Why not? It's a morph, so we can get tricky with it anyway. Yeah, Haunted Cadaver. I like that. Don't see a lot of Haunted Cadavers out there in the wild, so I think this is no better opportunity to throw one in there. Horde Robber is kind of like exactly what we're looking for. A 1/3 deals combat damage, makes a treasure. I like Horde Robber in a lot of different decks. This card's pretty cool. It's got stats that I like. You know, 2 mana, 1/3. It's got a high toughness, so it doesn't just get wiped away in combat. You can kind of attack a little more freely with it. Whereas if it were like a 2/1 or a 3/1 or whatever, like it just gets chunked in trades. But this thing doesn't necessarily trade with everything, which I like. And then Impact Tremors we're not going to do. Artificial Bow, no. There's also a couple creatures with attack triggers that I want to put in here too. We'll get to that in a minute. Alright. Let's come into player. Latola's Orders is interesting. There are a couple orders. Latola's Orders is one, and then Necromantic Thirst, I think, is the other one. They're orders that give the creature an on-hit ability. This one destroys an artifact. And you can cast it as an instant. Pretty neat. We're going to do Mana Skimmer stuff. No, we're going to skip Mana Skimmer. That card's not so much fun. But we are going to play Necromantic. So this is an aura. Whenever a creature deals combat damage, you get to raise dead. Return a creature to your hand, which is good. Especially when we're playing things like Blind Zealot and Haunted Cadaver that sacrifice themselves. Something like Necromantic Thirst is, you know, just what the Doctor ordered. Not really doing Infect stuff, although it's an interesting thought. But not doing that. This is not really a Raid Bombardment deck. I don't think we're going super wide. Not a ton of little guys that do stuff. Skirt Commando is another one. When it deals combat damage to a player, it deals 2 damage to a creature that player controls. That's a great one. Skirt Commando. Sparsight Infiltrator is another tap ability. This is kind of a great one for crewing because it's 3 power. Whenever it becomes tapped, it pings everybody for 1. This card's really good. We're gonna play that one. The other few are like Timuret, Servant Timuret, and Night Market Lookout. They both have 1 power, but again, like I said with the medics, we're going to be using them in conjunction with other things. Sticky Fingers is an aura that gives a creature an ability to deal combat damage, make a treasure. So we're going to play that one. Another good aura. Auras are fun. I like the play patterns around auras because, I mean, granted, like, it kind of sucks to get 2 for 1, even though they mitigate it with this, like, card draw trigger. I like investing in creatures on the battlefield in a meaningful way, whereas with equipment, you just get to, like, reinvest those cards into something else. With enchantments or auras, you actually have to, like, really go in on things and commit, which I really like, actually. I think it gives you a lot of interesting, like, good, I think, healthy play patterns. Do we want to do dungeon stuff? Probably. Dungeons are a good way to get like incremental value, even if you just have the baseline ones, not the Undercity, but like Vandelver or Mad Mage. So we'll play Fangblade. And Vampiric Link, another lifelink aura. I'm intrigued. This is probably going to be like pretty close on the chopping block if we need to cut something because like it's a little redundant, but it stacks with lifelink because this is a damage trigger, um, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so now we've got that. Let's look at whenever attacks. There are a handful of creatures like with this templating that don't make compelling aggressive attackers because their stat lines are pretty low, but they have good triggers. That's kind of like the trade-off is that it's a good trigger, but you risk the creature in a meaningful way. But let's see. I love Aki Ronin, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that today. I do like me an Aki Ronin though. Adventures Airship. Audacious Thief is a good example. Gray Ogre, basically 3 mana, 2/2. When it attacks, you draw a card with life. It's a great trigger, but it trades in combat very easily, so making it unblockable is a good place to start. These things pump when they attack, so we can make them unblockable beforehand, but maybe if we're hurting, I'll play that. Burning Tree Vandal is another good one. Riot, 3 mana, 2/1. Whenever it attacks, you get to rummage. Kind of like Academy Raider, except like the stat line's a little bit better, and you get the trigger on attack. There's Riot as well. Riot's pretty good. We'll play that one. Burning Tree Vandal. Chainflow Centipede. I like that card. I like Reconfigure. It's a mechanic that I have a soft spot for. Big time. It's really, really good. These are not that great. So Dwarven Vigilantes, if it is unblocked, you can redirect its damage to a creature. But that doesn't interest me much. Frenzied Goblin's a good one, actually. So 1 mana, 1/1 attacks, you get to make something not blocked by paying a red. Another creature that like you really have to leverage in combat wisely otherwise. But we can make this thing unblockable and then have it, make something else not be able to block for our other creatures. Maybe that's good. We'll play Frenzied Goblin. Maybe that's good. Gaze of Pain is kind of like Dwarven Vigilantes. Text isn't blocked to me, choose up to deal damage equals power target creature. It does it for it's a board wide thing. That's pretty cool. Not sure if we're in the market for that, but it's a neat effect. Something to keep in mind for sure. Okay, Gilded Goda I kind of like here because it has saddle, and we have like things that'll trigger, or rather to crew vehicles, and this thing whenever it attacks we make a treasure. I like that. This is a card that I really liked when the Aether Drift spoilers came out. It's just sort of a neat little package, like pretty functional package. I like it, but I haven't really gotten many opportunities to play with it. Meaning, I haven't really built any decks that really are craving this thing. Goblin Racketeer, unfortunately, no. We'll play Goblin Vandal. Goblin Vandal, whenever it attacks and is not blocked, you can pay a red to destroy an artifact. So we're just like killing all the artifacts with this deck. Yeah, whenever the creature attack isn't blocked, you can pay a red. If you do destroy an artifact, and it assigns no damage, but whatever. The most important thing about this card is the unblockability, in my opinion. Hardened Berserker. Howling Golem. Yeah. Oh, whoops. I didn't have my thing on the field. Howling Golem. A classic. Whenever it attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. Giving things to your friends is always good. Makes the game smoother. We'll play the Duodrone as well, because giving everybody resources just makes the game better. It really does. If you just kind of like remove yourself. Oh, welcome, Sif. You're just in time here. We talk about Howling Golem and Marching Duodrone. People are largely of the opinion that giving your opponents resources is a bad thing. I think it's a great thing, and it makes games way better when everybody can do all kinds of stuff. And granted, you might lose, but who gives a shit? Okay. Already got the Duodrone. Mayhem Patrol. I love Mayhem Patrol. We're going to play Mayhem Patrol. This card just like... I I played with it in the pre-release and immediately fell in love with Mayhem Patrol. So it's a 2 mana 1/2 with Menace, so it's like some evasion. Whenever it attacks, it gives any creature +1/+0. So it can give itself +1/+0, so it's effectively a 2/2 for 2 with Menace, which is like, I'm on board with that. Or you can give it to something else, whatever, but then you can blitz it. Blitz is a cool ability. Give it haste, draw a card. Alright, we'll play some of these things. Necrite, sacrifice it. Yeah, attacking unblocked. Get to destroy a thing. Centralizing some of our removal in these weird creatures like this, I think, is a really great alternative to just like playing stuff out, go for throw, Doomblade, all that boring stuff. You get to just package it into nice little, neat little things like Necrite. Cards that people don't see all the time that just are fun, you know. Dash blocks, no. Penal Samurai, attacks alone. No, we're not. Well, I mean, we might be doing some attacking alone, but this only applies to samurais and warriors, which, we may not have a ton of. Saddle. These I'm less high on. We'll look at like some vehicles to round things out in a little bit, I think, but it's not my priority right now. Phantom Winter attacks a mill. Skirl the Sentry is just kind of great everywhere. I kind of just want to play it because it's a pet card of mine. We'll put it in there. Again, just like with Vampiric Embrace, something that, or Vampiric Link rather, something that I may very well cut. Sigiled Skink, let's play that one. Sigil with Skink. Silent Skimmer's interesting. Not great, actually, but interesting card. Takanuma Bleeder. We love Takanuma Bleeder. Just a 3/3 that kills you if you don't control a demon. What could be better than that? Oh man, Vile Deacon's pretty cool if we were going in more of a cleric-ish direction. Enter your text exile card. Zentrum Bandit. Okay, that's another good one. We'll do that. This one, whenever it attacks, it's 2/1 for 2, so again, fragile. Whenever it attacks, you get to pay a life, and if you do, you make a treasure token. So, we have got a lot of ways to just generate resources, mess with the battlefield a little bit. This is a great start. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll play some stuff to do with our creatures when they are unblocked, just to push damage, because all these things are kind of small, right? But then we can do, where are they? Blood Rush. We'll play these. Well, these two at least. Herbal Belt Maka and Scorchwalker. I like Herbal Belt Maka. Well, I like Blood Rush because, the pump spell half of this card is not counterable, which is great. Or you can just play, your Hill Giant, which is fine too. It's just better than, Brute Strength, in my opinion. Scorchwalker gives +5/+1. Definitely the one that gets the biggest buff here because of the power aspect not mattering, or the toughness rather, not mattering so much. Scorchwalker. And then there are creatures that give power. Was it combat plus? Things like Battle Rattle Shaman. Let's just put battle plans in here. I think it's what the card's called. Yeah. It's an enchantment that does just that, right? Beginning of combat, gives a creature +2/+0 and it land cycles. Pretty sick. Good evening, Bill. Welcome. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Battle Rattle Shaman. So this is something another thing where we give our thing unblockable, and then we go to combat and we just stack all these triggers on the thing that's unblockable. I like these cards enough anyway, but in a deck like this, you just kind of get to shine a little bit. Herodrim Spearmaster, and there's definitely 4 or 5 of them. Fair amount of redundancy. Stimpy Driver's not one. What's ornamental? Valor Singer's the other one. There's one in Aether Drift, and there's another one in red that I do not remember what it is. Target creature plus. Let's try that. Let's try that. Grim Javelin, yeah, there we go. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0, and then if it dies, you get to surveil. It's not going to die, but it gets an additional point of power. Grim Javelineer. Got the Spearmaster. Inner Flame Acolyte. No. Oh, Iron Hoofborn. Oh, yeah, we got these channel ones. Let's get an Iron Hoofborn here. It'll be like high power effects like this are great because we also get lifelink. In addition to our thing just being unblockable for going to combat. Most of that will say, there we go. 4 mana, whenever you attack, creature gets +1/+0 first strike. Again, like, even if we don't want to put these on like the unblockable creature, giving their thing first strike is really good. It's just like a pretty versatile card. In white, there's a card called Combat Professor, which is very similar. It's a 3 mana or 4 mana 2/3 flyer that gives a thing +1/+0 in vigilance when you attack. Really good card. Very underrated. Well, I guess like these mercenary cards. Yeah, let's play Silver Deputy and Prickly Pear. Prickly Pear, it's, you know, a creature that brings a friend, but the friend it brings is the 1/1 mercenary that pumps power. I guess it doesn't matter though because we'd have to do. Oh no, we can do it. Okay, never mind. I'm overthinking it. Overthinking it. That's just what I do. Okay. That looks like all of that. All right, so we got what? 30 creatures. Pretty good. Let's find some things that care about vehicles. Like these are 30 creatures that just like interface directly with what we're doing, which is like, that's a good number. That's a good number. All right, so there's some vehicles here. Oh, actually, let's first do becomes tapped and get those cards out of here. I guess there's this new one from Edge of Eternity. We're gonna play this one. Why not? Throw it in there. Oh, I guess it's it's gotta be here. Chrome Companion. There we go. Yeah, get that guy in here. 2/1. Whenever comes out, gain a life. Free life. Free life. Hanger Scrounger. We'll play some other vehicles to like give these things more applications, but these are just like the best ones. Night Market, Lookout. Whenever it comes tapped, it drains. Rescue Leopard is just like another Hanger Scrounger. Whenever it becomes tapped, you discard draw. Scare Tiller gets us lands, and then Servant of Temerat drains. So we'll play all of these. Scare Tiller, Servant of Temerat, and what was the name of the card? I'm so stupid. Oh, the Leopard. Did I already get that one? I thought I started with Scare Tiller, but let's get the Leopard in here. Rescue Leopard, you know, very quietly like one of, I think, a card that I've come to appreciate a lot out of Dragonstorm. I just love creatures that do something when you tap them to like do other stuff. Just being able to use your creatures as resources outside of combat, I like. Inspire, so Syncruise, and I think can Intimidate. Yeah, let's play all of these. Vampire Envoy, Wanderglyph, and Warchanter. And we'll play a bunch of vehicles to give these things something to do. Okay, that's good. Yeah, another like Rummage card. This gives the thing Intimidate when it untaps. That's the thing. Is like inspired is a keyword that we have not seen since Born of the Gods. Probably for a good reason, but you know, I like it. It does. It's a keyword that plays very naturally into the things that I like to be doing in a game of Magic. All right, let's back to cards that care about vehicles. All right, we're gonna play Air Adventure shit. Just like a really great kind of like staple vehicle out of Final Fantasy. Just like very, you know, cost effective, repeatable loot trigger, easy to crew. It's evasive. Like this thing checks a lot of boxes. I think it's really good. Definitely play Burner Rocket. It's a creature that's a pump spell. Gives a creature plus 2/0 and trample and has flash. Yeah, exactly. Smuggler's Copter at home. Just as good, in my opinion. Just as good as Smuggler's Copter. I'm surprised it's not banned in Standard yet. This thing just cruise. Don't care about that. This thing just cruise. Don't care about that. What's this? Incubates. No, it sucks. Could play the Wrangler. Or Renegade Freighters. I go on, and Raider's Carve. We'll play those. These are not like a lot of cards I care about. Vehicles specifically, other than like the things that you know, crew it for increased power. Raider's Carve. We'll get some good vehicles. So Renegade Freighter is just like limited all-star from Kaladesh. 4/3 crew 2, easy to crew, easy to cast. Whenever it attacks, it gets 1/1 tramples. It's a 5/4 trampler on attack. It just dishes out tons of damage. Raider's Carve is an Explorer Scope attached to a 4/4. Card's always good. Spin out, destroy creature vehicle. Nope. A lot of things kill vehicles, but don't really key off of them in any way, shape, or form. This just crews things. You know, I guess I'll keep a Reckoner, right? Another card that I really like. This half is not that impressive. You know, it's a 1-mana enchantment. Each opponent loses 1 life. You gain a life. You do it twice, and then you exile it and return it with this. Using Road Captain 2/2 menace vehicles. You control menace, so like a neat little anthem for your vehicles. Mobile Garrison untaps a thing. Yeah, I actually like Mobile Garrison a lot because we can untap our commander and give another thing unblockable and lifelink. The 4 blockers. Okay. Alright, that's all I care about. Vehicles. Now let's look at things that have type, vehicle, and mount. Alright. This one I like. A new one. I'll play Flywheel Racer. It's a good mana source. This one I think is cool. 6/3 menace, crew 3 cycling for a red. I think that's pretty good. This, yeah, and we'll play Sky Skiff. A lot of these, like we saw last week as well, they're just like very generically good vehicles. But these red ones, like so Clamorous, Ironclad, Flywheel Racer. We'll also play like Springleaf Drum and stuff like that too, for our things that tap, you know. Springleaf Drum is just like good in every deck. It's just busted. Card's insane. Got the Racer. Skybox Fairy, I'm kind of taking a liking to the more as time marches on. So 4/4 flyer, crew 2, so it's easy. It cycles if you don't need it. And that's Sky Skiff as well. So we'll play both of those. Skybox Fairy. Sky Skiff. Sky Skiff is just like a classic, you know, cheap, easy to crew, flies, you know, it checks all the boxes. This, I mean, 4/3 when it enters each one discards card, not compelling. Don't care about the incubate, don't really care about that. You know, I think we've got the stuff worth including here. All right. So let's get a Springleaf Drum. Where are we at? 93. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here. Doing pretty good. Let's look at things that just like tap, and untapped. Siege Zombie is one. I don't see why we wouldn't play Siege Zombie. I love me a Siege Zombie. I wish there were more allies so I could use cards like this. I just like tapping my creatures, and a Comb Flame Seeker lets me do that. But you need to have allies, which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. Sunshot Militia, I don't like as much because you have to do it as a sorcery, so we'll skip that one. Veteran's Voice now. We'll play Encampment and Settlement. Without Settlement. Encampment. I'll just like -1/-1. I'll just do tap, untap, because Siege Zombie cares about tapping 3 creatures, so tap a single untapped creature is not going to bring that one up. But this search will. Cragma Butcher, this is an inspired card that I'm less high on. I think giving things Intimidate with the War Chanter Mogus is sick. This just becomes a 4/3, and I mean, it can crew our Commander of Perpetuity, but other than that, like, it's just kind of boring. Siege Zombie, tap 3 untapped creatures, each opponent loses a life. I like that card. Yeah, let's play Siege Zombie. Something to do with our guys when we're not attacking. Any second now. And then we'll look at cards that care about artifacts, I think, afterward, because our commander's an artifact, you know. Actually, we'll just start doing that now. And there are a lot of cards that care about artifacts in red, not so much in black. Help me find my Siege Zombie. There we go. Okay. We're doing a lot of rummaging. Do we need like other forms of card advantage? Probably. Probably. Let's keep that in mind. I don't think we're doing. We don't have like enough artifacts, I think, to do a committed lean into Metalcraft. Don't have legendary creatures, so can't do that. We built a smash. Like if we crew up our commander and attack and make it give it +3 precision trample, it's 9 power trampler. Perhaps. Perhaps. I don't think we really need like a lot of like ramp spells or mana rocks, right? Oh, we could play Cranial Ram. No, no, we're not gonna do the plating on the ram. Not gonna do it. I'm not that desperate. Let's play Demand Answers though. I like Demand Answers. This is a deck where we have a lot of ways to like make treasures, and Demand Answers lets us sacrifice an artifact instead of discard a card, so we can go up on cards, which is something that red doesn't get to do a whole lot of. Do Fanatical Offering too. And we'll do Deadly Dispute. Okay. I doubt we'll need more. This is not yielding results. Let's do target artifact. 734, we should probably be wrapping this up pretty soon and getting into the play testing. We're at 97, so not a whole lot further to go. Yeah, not so much. Originator crucial combat. That was another thing that destroys an artifact. Don't need more of these. I think we're good. think we're good there. Bobble. These cards are cool. I just don't think they're necessarily what we want to be doing. Cool, cool, cool. Infernal Captor. I like Infernal Captor. This thing can steal a creature and then crew up our commander. Or use it to untap our commander if we want to. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Not too much else. Return a creature, so it's a raised dead that cantrips if we have our commander out. Not the worst, but definitely not the best, if you know what I'm saying. Siege Smash is good. Maybe we should play Siege Smash. A good pump spell that we can, doubles as removal for an artifact. We have a lot of artifact removal though. Yeah, not a ton. Let's play Wedding Invitation. This card just, makes something unblockable and it cantrips, and, we're building our deck around making things unblockable, so this card seems good. It's just like very utilitarian. Enlist. Enlist is a pretty cool ability. It's like crewing, but worse. But maybe I'll do that. Welding Sparks, 3+, no. No. This is starting to need control, yeah, okay. Okay, so let's do, what can we enlist? We should probably just play like a removal spell. Like just like something generic, I think. I feel like we have some, but not like a ton. Or not like, enough for most folks. Yeah, well, we only got 3 instants in the deck. Let's just play like, let's play Doomblade. Just a classic. Let's play Doomblade. Round it out. So we got the Doomblade, and we've got some creatures in here that will kill things. The Skirt Commando, we've got the, wherever they are. Got the Nechrite, we've got the Blind Zealot, got the Infernal Captor. We can like steal something and then maybe sacrifice it to something if we have those spells. Got this one. I like this card. Okay, yeah, this seems fine. Maybe we'll cut the Goblin Vandal. And we'll play... Oh, you know what we're going to play? Dirge of Dread. When you're playing with this many damage triggers, Dirge of Dread is kind of sick. This is kind of like a pet card of mine. 3 mana gives all your creatures fear, so they can't be blocked except by black or artifact creatures, and you can cycle it to just give something fear and draw your card. This card's sick. We're definitely going to play that one. Okay, let's take this into the playtester. Actually, let's do lands first. Let's just do that. Land. Definitely going to play Opal Palace. I think last time we learned that Opal Palace works with vehicles. Yeah, if you just use the extra commander, enters with counters, and you have counters on artifacts. Okay, great. We'll do Study Hall. We're 2-color decks, so like we can have some colorless lands, not the worst thing in the world. Definitely gonna play Ash Barrens. We're gonna play a handful of sacrifice lands because of the Scare Tiller. So we're gonna do, let's see, let's first get some stuff going here. We'll go Command Tower, obviously. We'll play like Riveteer's Overlook and Cabaret Courtyard. These are like by far the best lands to use with the Scare Tiller because you don't have the lands enter tapped, so you can't immediately activate like an Evolving Wilds or a Terramorphic Expanse. But these just sacrifice themselves automatically. These are like by far the best. Don't really need these like this the Surveil lands. Don't really care too much about the cycling lands. We'll play Escape Tunnel. This has a lot of hits. Gets us a land or just like makes the thing unblockable. Power 2 or less. Just like our commander does. The Geothermal Bog will play like the land typed ones. Geothermal Bog and the one that I can't remember, the snow one. Wait, more Shwigmire. We have enough creatures that I think sacrifice or die that we're going to want more Shwigmire. I'm not going to play Witch's Cottage. I think that card has a fail rate and I don't like it. I don't like my single colored lands entering tapped. Not okay with it. Not okay. Obviously, like, y'all do whatever y'all want to do on your ends with the lands. I'm just doing my favorites here. Sulphurous Mire. There we go. Okay, and that puts us at 40 cents. We gotta cut 10 lands. What's our balance like? 44.35. Okay, so we'll cut 4 mountains, 6 swamps. That should be okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, let's take it into the zone here. Okay. Playtest. We've got land. We've got land. We've got land. We've got vehicle, Howling Golem. This end is fine. Let's just get this out there. Oh, hold on. I gotta draw my card first. Boom. Mountain ain't bad. Just get this out there. And turn 2. Oh, look at that. Watch this. We can go Frenzy Goblin, Springleaf Drum. Cool. Next turn. Hopefully a holdout settlement. And let's just throw this guy out there. And what we can do, like, we can just add a red, tap, attack with this, make something can't block, whatever. And now I want to cast our commander. Attack with this, everyone draws a card. Next turn. And now we're off to the races. So we got both of our blood rushers. We've got this thing. So let's see. I've got. Yeah, I have enough red. Okay. So we're just gonna, tap, boom. It's unblockable. We'll attack. Everyone draws. And then we'll let's just blood rush this Maka. Boom. And we'll gain 5. If I gain 5 off this. And then what we'll do is we'll cast Necromantic Thirst. Probably should have done this beforehand. I'm just dumb. We do this before combat, and then what happens is we use this in combat, and then it deals damage, and we get this Necromantic Thirst trigger to rebuy our Maka. That seems good. Boom. Let's just play a mountain. And you know what? Let's just cycle this. Okay. And then we'll, boom, go to combat, attack. Everyone draws. I like that. Let's just do the old, boom, we'll just do the old 5-er. And then trigger this, rebuy this. And we'll get this market. Yeah. Necromantic Thirst in these bloodrush creatures is absolutely insane. Let's add a Skinbrand Goblin because I want to kind of max out on those now that I've seen this interaction. And Skinbrand Goblin ain't bad. Let's see. Let's cut the Fangblade. I'm only cutting the Fangblade because I'm a very big believer in having as few accessories to keep track of as possible. I don't have to cart around dungeons and keep track of those. So we're just going to cut the Fangblade for convenience's sake. We're going to put in a Skinbrand Goblin. Just another Blood Rusher. This one is Blood Rusher 1 red, gives I think +2/+1. Yeah. You know what? We're also going to play the Enlist creatures. I think these cards are better than they seem. Okay, give me 1 second. We're going to reevaluate. We're going to cut Latal's Orders. We're going to cut Vampiric Link. We're going to put in Yavimaya something or other, Steel Crusher, and then Coalition Brute, I think is the name of the card. So these are both things that we can make unblockable, but what's interesting about these cards, where's the Coalition War Brute? There we go. So this is, I guess this one we can't make unblockable, but I like it less now. Let's see what there is. What we can do is just like make it unblockable, then tap all of our creatures to enlist it, and then attack. It's just a way to like get in, like attack with all of our creatures, you know. I don't think black has any enlist creatures. Yeah, it's just the 2. Okay, so let's play Steel Crusher. War Brood, less so. We'll cut the War Brood. Because the whole reason we're doing it is to take advantage of that interaction. So we will put the Vampiric Link back in. That's okay. Okay, we're back in it. Let's go. Playtest. So we've got War Chanter is great, Scorchwalker is great, Slayer is great. So this is a hand where we're actually going to want to be like crewing this to attack with this. Our hand is like pretty oriented towards that. So let's draw. Okay, got the Blood Rush guys back. Let's get this out there. We'll probably want to play the Skinbrand Goblin out as a creature so we can activate these for black mana unless we draw one, draw a swamp or whatever. That's pretty good. This will help us solve our problem. We're do a drone. Then turn 3. We'll get out this mountain. We attack. Nobody blocks because everybody loves the duo drone. We'll make a treasure and then we'll cast our commander. Just like that. Okay, next turn. Okay, so this is two draws in a row where we've drawn the Necromantic Thirst and Blood Rush creatures. So we're gonna hang back on that and try out some other stuff real quick here. Alright, so let's play. Let's attack first. We'll make our treasure. We'll sacrifice it. And oh shoot, I need more mana. You can't cast War Chanter because it's double black. So let's keep this treasure then. And oh, and we'll make this unblockable just to make sure. And we'll just cast this Goblin Medic so we can do this. And we've got what, 2 more mana? I think that's fine for now. Okay. Prickly Pear is sick. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is black with this, deal damage to something. Check if this is for black number 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the War Chanter. Tap the War Chanter to crew the runner. Which attack for 6. Attack with this. So we'll make a token. And next turn, give a creature Intimidate. Let's just give marching to a drone Intimidate. Going to block by artifact creatures or colorless creatures. And we draw this. So let's get the Prickly Pear out. Actually, let's do combat first. We'll just, crew this up, attack here, make another treasure. You see how like flexible we can be in terms of what we're doing. Like we can either force this thing through, or we can use our War Chanter to crew this and make this like pretty much unblockable. Just goes to show like the entire deck doesn't just revolve around forcing through little guys. You can also like use these bigger guys to like do other stuff. So we've got mana now. Let's do 1, 2, 3. We'll cast the Prickly Pear. We'll make our token, our mercenary. And then we'll do 4. And we'll cast the Most Valuable Slayer. Next turn. All right, so now we're into the zone where, we'll give this Intimidate again. Now we're in a realm where, we may want to start loading something up. Let's say hypothetically we want to do that. We'll tap this for black, 3, 4. We'll put Thirst on the Duo Drone. We'll make the make Duo Drone unblockable. Then we'll give it +1, so make it a 3/2. Then we will attack, go to combat, give it +1, so it's a 4/2. Then we will attack, Blood Rush the Skinbrand Goblin, make it a 6/3. Trigger Thirst, rebuy the Goblin. And then, end of turn, we can just crew this up. So it untaps, we get a trigger. Let's give the Slayer... Actually, let's give War Chanter Intimidate. Because we can just attack with this thing. It's a 3/3. It's beefy. Alright, let's get... oh, I guess I got a treasure last turn too. Alright, so now what we can do this, and 2, 3, we'll play the Vampire Envoy, just another thing with Goblin Medic, so we can tap for value with our encampments. And we have the mana to Blood Rush this. Yeah, so we just do the whole thing again, right? Make it blockable, then it goes 3, 4 power, 9 with Scorchwalker, and we just rebuy the Scorchwalker. We tap these to colored mana. We gain a life just paying something. Yeah, this is sick. Alright, that's not so good. Okay, here's some lands. What time? 7:51? We got a couple in us. Let's see. So we got Drum, but not much to use with it. 3 lands. Offering. This hand's kind of dumpy. Let's mulligan that. Alright, so we got Bog, we got lands, we've got a creature, we've got an aura. This is kind of everything we need here. Alright, so draw for turn. Scare Tiller is sick. Geothermal Bog, just get that out of the way now, because we have no turn 1 play. Burner Rocket is good. And I'll get the Sigil Skink out there. 2/1 whenever it attacks, we scry. Another great example. Something that attacks gives us a little bit of benefit, but is fragile, and it's going to benefit greatly from this. Or Sticky Fingers, because Sticky Fingers gives menace. This card, let me tell you something about Sticky Fingers. This card's really good. Even if you're a deck that cares at all about attacking, and you are a red deck, this is probably worth considering for a slot. It's a 1 mana aura, which is great. It replaces itself, which is great. When the creature dies, you draw a card. And it gives the creature evasion, and it gives the creature a damage trigger to generate treasures. This thing just does it all. It's really good. If you've never played with it, then I recommend you start, because it's really fun. Alright, we've got our Skink, and then next turn. Command Tower is perfect. And then we'll just go in here. We'll get the Sticky Fingers on the Skink, and then we'll go to combat and attack. We'll scry 1. Do I need a swamp? I do. It's not going to be so bad with the Scare Tiller, honestly. Yeah, let's leave that on top. I've got other stuff to do with my mana and things next turn. I don't need cards. And then we'll do damage, make a treasure. I've got plenty of mana. Alright. Draw the swamp. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful swamp. And now what we can do with 5 mana is we can get the Scare Tiller out there. What we'll probably end up doing, and this is kind of tricky, is we're going to use this Burner Rocket eventually. Use the Scare Tiller to crew the Burner Rocket to crew the Apocalypse Runner, if we need to. Just because the Scare Tiller by itself can't crew the runner, and in order to get this trigger every turn, we need to be crewing something. So we can always crew Burner Rocket, and Burner Rocket can always crew Apocalypse Runner should we need to do that. So that's kind of the plan here. And then we'll go to combat. We'll scry. We'll put this on the bottom. We don't need more lands right now. And then we'll make a treasure. Next turn. Medics is sick. Alright. So now what we'll do is we'll cast the runner. We'll go to combat. We'll scry. Racer we don't need. Then we'll flash in this Burner Rocket, pump it. We'll use these treasures to do it. Give it +2/+0 and trample, and then we'll make a treasure. And then now what we can do is end of turn, tap, crew this, play this mountain out, and then next turn. It's got a little bit of benefit there. We could really use a fetch land of some kind. Alright, Valor Singer is perfect. So now we can start just making this thing unblockable every turn. And let's get the Valor Singer out there. Just start pumping it up. And then let's actually just like cash in this treasure with the Deadly Dispute, and we'll draw a card and make a treasure. Okay. So now let's just force this guy through again. We'll give it +1/+0 from this. So we've got a 3/1. So scry 1. Mobile Garrison is great. Leave that on top. Make a treasure. And then what we'll do is we'll cast the Prickly Pear and get another, like, you know, booster online with the Mercenary. Alright, so these two things will trigger for combat. This is just kind of like an extra guy. And then I don't have any lands, so next turn, get the Garrison out. And now, like, we can start crewing the Garrison with this, untapping, like, our Apocalypse Runner to make multiple things unblockable. We can just like start like forcing this thing through as well, even though it's not like particularly juicy. We just force it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like it. It works on kind of a couple different axes, which I like. It's not, you know, just like play your vehicles, crew your vehicles. You know, it has a lot of play to it. A lot more than, you know, I would have thought initially. This hand is pretty sick. We've got like these two things and then enough lands to cast them. Iron Hoofbore is dope. I wonder if there's any other channel cards I can play in this deck. Like channel. Let's see. I really like the Blood Rush cards and the channel cards. Nothing particularly good. Okay. Let's see if there's any good graveyard to hand. Any good cards like that we can use to raise dead a little bit, you know. I do love me a good raise dead, but I want some value out of it, you know. Like dig up the body is good, except we have to casualty. Oh, you know what? Drugger Recruiter is quite good. Let's play Drugger Recruiter. I'm digging that card. I am digging a Drugger Recruiter. And then we'll cut. We'll cut probably the Infernal Captor, because we're getting another 3/3. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So I think we've got, what, 3 minutes? I think this is where we'll probably call it. I think we've got like good bones here. I'm gonna probably could use with some tuning. I probably leaned a little too heavily into some things that are maybe a trap in the long term. I don't know. But this deck does a lot of stuff, and it has a lot more. It's a lot more adaptable than I thought. Even when you're not like, you know, making your thing unblockable every turn, you still have a lot of stuff you can do. Besides just like forcing through your 2-power creature, which I like a lot. Get to put out cards I like. Let's change this neck rate real quick. I always like the, you know, the HR Giger neck rate. That's kind of my neck rate of choice. Everybody has their neck rate of choice, right? Anybody's anybody. The Drew Tucker 5th edition Chinese only one is obviously like god tier. Like, Drew Tucker is the best. Like, this art is great, or this card is great, right? Like the Fallen Empire's black border version, but a white border version with like crisper details on the artwork, way better. But the Drew Tucker is the GOAT. We all know this. But as far as neck rates go, I'm a big fan of the Chris Resch one. That's what we're going to be using here. Okay, so 7:58. I'll wrap it up here. Go out and play with vehicles. Vehicles are fun. We made them legal in Pauper Commander for this month, even though they're going to be legal forever with the release of Edge of Eternity. So we're just ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. Go out and enjoy them. You know, get used to playing with them, against them, because they're going to be a part of the format for the foreseeable future. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Apocalypse Runner is a great choice. Prototype Prodigy that we did last week is a great choice. A lot of great ones in Aether Drift. Or like some really great colorless commander options as well. Make colorless deck. Maybe I'll do that next week. We'll brew a colorless vehicle and make a colorless deck. Because there's a lot of good ones out there, I'll tell you. But yeah, as always, the deck list is in the description, along with a link to the bookmark that has all of the decks we've built so far over the last however many months I've been doing this. They're all there. There's like 35 or so of them now. Just decks just like this, simple, functional. Take them, do whatever you want with them. They're for you guys, not for me. And then also in the description, links to Trevor Project and Trans Lifeline. As always, if you can donate money to those organizations, please do. They could use every bit of help they can get. And then, oh, Bill, what's this? You're playing Vehicles next Monday library stream? Yeah. Yeah, maybe, you know what? Next Monday, maybe I'll be available to watch and be a peanut gallery. But with that, it's 8 o'clock, so I gotta go. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.